Lesson 68 is on algebraic addition. Just as a review, if we have the number 3 on a number line, it's how many spaces from 0? 3. And I'm back at 0. If I have negative 3, how many spaces is that from 0? 3 spaces as well. So we can say that negative 3 and 3 are opposites. We can say the opposite of negative 3 is 3, and the opposite of 3 is negative 3. We can use this when we are subtracting or adding. Take, for instance, we have the problem 7 minus 3. We usually read it as 7 minus 3, and we get an answer of 4. But in algebraic addition, we have a second way of writing this problem. Algebraic addition, then, is a second way to think of a subtraction problem. Instead of subtracting, we add the opposite. So, we have 7 minus 3 equals 4. Instead of subtracting 3, we could write 7 plus a negative 3. The opposite of 3 is negative 3, and our answer is still going to be 4. We get the same answer both ways. No matter if we do 7 minus 3 or if we do 7 plus a negative 3, we still get 4. Now, let's use that same thought process when thinking about this problem. 7 minus a negative 3. We're subtracting a negative. But back here, we said add the opposite number. So let's rewrite this red problem as if we're adding the opposite number. If we want to add the opposite, we would add, and the opposite of negative 3 would be positive 3. Add the opposite. So therefore, our answer here, 7 plus 3, is 10. Another way to look at this would be 7 plus 3 equals 10. In example 1, we're asked to simplify this problem. We have negative 3 minus a negative 2. Notice I have two negative signs next to each other. We can say a negative next to a negative is a positive, all right? There's also parentheses, which still means a negative times a negative is a positive. Or, remember, add the opposite. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. The opposite of subtracting is adding. So, let's rewrite the problem. Negative 3 plus 2. Therefore, we get negative 1. In example 2, we're asked to simplify this problem. Negative 2 minus 5 minus a positive 6. Remember, add the opposites. A negative next to a negative, just like right here, tells us add the opposite, which is 2, plus a negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is 5, or subtracting 5 is negative 5. Minus, so remember, we're changing it, we're adding the opposite of what's next to it. We're adding the opposite of 6, which is negative 6. So now, since these two have the same signs in front, they both have negatives, we can just add those two. So our problem now looks like 2 plus a negative 11. When we subtract or add the opposite, 2 plus a negative 11, we get a negative 9. Example 3, before we get to our practice, we are asked to simplify this problem. We have negative 1.2 minus a positive 1.5. We're adding the opposite, so negative 1.2, we want to change it to an addition problem. Add the opposite of 1.5 would be negative 1.5. Then this becomes a really simple problem for us. We have a negative sign and a negative sign, so therefore we can add the two and keep the negative sign. So we have negative 1.2 plus a negative 1.5. 5 and 2 is 7. 1 and 1 is 2. Keep your decimal place. Keep your sign. So our answer is negative 2.7. For your practice, it is on page 482, and I would like you to do A, B, C, and D.